I was in a boarding house with see-through walls, and every single weekend on a Sunday night, I could hear this guy saying, "Oh, that party was so sick," or "Oh, I ended up hooking up with this girl," or some crazy ass story, and he'd be telling all of the boys, and I'd be sitting in my room and I'd hear all of this because of the see-through walls, but I would never actually be a part of it. And after a while, I started to realize this guy, he ended up doing like pretty well in school. He might have done better than me. He DJ'd in a set, like in a club. He is in really good shape in the gym. And I realized like, that's not fucking fair. You know, these guys there were fucking around. They were having so much more fun than me at school while they had a social life. And I realized that maybe having a social life shouldn't be something that we frown upon. It shouldn't be like a good thing that we skip parties and we don't go out. We're not actually above them. They're doing better than us in life. So in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to have a great social life, you know, make those amazing memories, meet girls, all of that stuff that I didn't get to do immediately when I first was at school because I didn't fit in for a while. And then I remember one night my friend said to me, he was like, "Thank you, Finn, for being the party friend, the guy who would bring me out and introduce me to so many people." So I'm credible, and I'll teach you everything I know about this topic today. You're probably wondering, where do you even start? The way I started, I actually left my friend group. They were voting me out one day. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I left as soon as I heard there was a vote. I like grew some self-respect for once after they'd been taking the piss out of me for a while. And then I ended up winning the vote. One of my friends messaged me, there was 5 people who voted you in, but I was like, I'm not joining back. Like, you boys were voting me in or out. Like, the fuck is that? I started to hang out with one of my really good friends from that point on, like somebody that I'd known since a kid, but we didn't hang out that often. One day I invited him to go to the pool. And when we were hanging out, we were like, at first, I was really quiet around him, you know? We didn't really do much. We kind of just sit there, you know, have a laugh because we'd known each other for a while, do some dumb shit, play Brawl Stars, eat food. And after a few weekends, we ended up doing like the same kind of thing. We would meet, we would go to like the city for the day, and we'd go to Disneyland for the day, and he'd introduce me to his friends. So over time, I'm starting to get real close to this guy. And he starts introducing me to some people. He brings me one night, we're in the city, and there's 2 girls on SnapMap in the same area as us. So he's like, "Hey Finn, let's message these girls and see if they want to hang out." He had a crush on one of them. We ended up meeting up with both of them. It's really funny how this ended out, because like I think both of them ended up at like some point having a mini crush on me or something along those lines. And sorry, yeah, that was an ego drop, my bad. Anyways, we were hanging out with these girls, and while I was there, I didn't have anything to say. I was awkward, I was like really uncomfortable. I was just standing there quietly while me and my friend, we were just dead silent. And the other 2 girls were like pretty much carrying all the convos. And he was scared about his crush. I just had no social skills. Eventually, I was doing this kind of thing with him over the summer. Over a few months period, we would go and do something all weekend. I was going to meet somebody here and there. I was starting to be a bit more social, but only when I was around like my really good friends did I like speak a lot. But then when I went to this party, somebody put on their Snap story, "Yo, like there's this party, come to this beach at this day." I went there, and when I first met somebody, there was this girl. Like before, I would have answered questions awkwardly, but now in hindsight, if I felt awkward, but in hindsight, yeah, I was awkward. I wasn't saying much, but I was responding to people's conversations. You know, if someone said, "Oh, what's your name?" I'd say, "Oh, Finn, what about you?" But I just wouldn't know what to say in the first place. So I was kind of just standing there. And I guess I pulled off being quiet well enough to be invited to a lot more parties. And then that was like my lucky day. But I promise you, I wouldn't have had that lucky day if I had gone out assuming that I'm instantly gonna become the most popular guy. I waited, I became more social because I was really awkward at the time. I was trying to find friends and opportunities everywhere. I went to like meet a bunch of people throughout that time, even though it wasn't many people in comparison to how many people I met just in one night going to that party. It was still a massive, big bit of progress. And if I didn't do that and I went straight to the party, I probably would have struggled a lot to make new friends there. I mean, I already struggled even while being super social. So I want you to, find somewhere where you can start going out. It doesn't need to be the same way as me, teenage mischief and all that shit, because that's not where I made my best friends. Where I made my best friends was like gym, sports, when I had a really good connection with somebody, or when I'm really close with somebody and then we went out socially together as well. But I'm gonna get into the advice because you're probably like too busy for this, right? I'm gonna explain my streamlined process of doing all of this. I've been really locked in Hong Kong. I'm on my like gap year trying to grow my channel. Funny enough, the things that knock me off when I'm like working really hard are not my friends. You might think, oh, if I go out with my friends, I'm gonna lock out entirely. I kind of understand that because one of my friends was going on a night out and I went with him and I said, like, cause we were eating dinner and then he said, oh, I'm going to this like clubbing area now. So I said, oh, I'll just walk you there. I'll just say hi, just be there for 15 minutes and then I'll go home. Unfortunately, I was there for maybe a few hours. So now I know, like, cause I haven't really done that before. When I'm locked in, I just don't go at all. Now I know, yeah, okay, I probably shouldn't say, okay, I'm just going for 15 minutes cause I'm gonna end up staying. But the main point that I'm making here is it's never really your friends who are dragging you out once you have good friends. My friends never, like if I say, oh, I'm locked in, even though my friends are going out, they just don't even bother inviting me. Like it's never them who make me lock out. It's always when I really want to go out and I ask them or some shit. And the point that I'm making here is a few weeks ago, I woke up, filmed videos, went for a run, and then my friend said, okay, sauna and ice bath. We did that, we finished, we went back to my house, we cooked some steaks, some really healthy like gym meal for our macros, and then we went to bed early. You know how productive that was of a day? But 5 or 6 or 7 of those hours I spent with a good friend laughing my ass off, genuinely so much fun. That's why I wanted to say to you, once you make good friends, then it's easy as shit. The hardest part is making the friends in the first place, the people you get along with. And you know, that's actually easier than you think. I know it's a hard thing, but I'm gonna teach you like the methods and I'm gonna explain my process of how I would do this. Before we get into that, if you like the video so far, subscribe. I'm gonna get into the strat that I recommend. It's fast as fuck, it works really well. And then I'm also gonna get into the slower strat, but right before that, I'm gonna give you like some personality tips to be like the guy that people wanna be friends with more when they first meet them. I walked into the boxing gym and I see this guy, he's dressed nice, and I'm like, wow, he looks nice. So immediately I say, yo, you look fucking sick, bro. And I didn't say like, oh, you look fucking sick, bro. You could remember that whenever you're talking to somebody, you wanna bring like energy, like whatever you're thinking, you're feeling, just express it as much as possible. Don't be embarrassed. I get that like that might take a while, but I walk in immediately, I'm like, you look fucking sick, bro. And from that point, I swear I've noticed this guy's like more open talking to me. I've been chatting to him a bit more, but I think that like somewhere in the back of his mind, his view of me, he might have become a lot more comfortable because I've said something really nice about him. Now he knows I like him. Every single human, they're always thinking, oh, this guy doesn't like me. That everybody, like when I meet somebody and they're the quiet one, I think, oh, he probably doesn't like me at the back of my mind, even though logically I know exactly what's going on here. And other people are way more insecure about this. Like they meet somebody, they assume, oh, this guy probably doesn't like me. But one thing that I want to recommend, if you want to show people that you like them, saying it is not always enough. Like good to see you isn't always enough. I'm telling you, when you learn to bring good energy, like if you're really happy, in a really happy mood, and you walk into your classroom and your teacher says, hey, you say, hey, what's up, Mr. Wada? You know what I mean? Like you just say, hey, man, what's up, Mr. Wada? You say it with excitement because people, they don't judge you and they don't interpret what you've said. Like when you say something, 90% is how you say it, your intonations, your tone, your volume, and 10% is like the words that you actually said. So pay attention to this. This is a big important thing that I recommend. Other thing I want to tell you is this Saturday when I went out for a little bit and I was wearing, I'm gonna tell you it's my YouTube channel, so I don't give a fuck if anyone knows here. I put in like a high insole just because I genuinely it's a valid fucking reason for me. It boosts my ankle and it helps my like ankle mobility. But like once I realized I was taller and I was like, fuck it. I'm already 6'2", by the way, so I was probably appearing at like 6'4" this weekend with like the little booster in my shoe. And I was walking around and in my mind I'm like, I'm the goat. I'm the goat, guy. I'm fucking walking around with like a lot of confidence. Whereas the other nights out, or the night out before that, like a few weeks ago when I went out, I kind of didn't have that same confidence. I wasn't thinking like, oh, she's looking at me. But the thing is, when I went out this night, I don't think that I'm delusional for saying, oh, this girl kept looking back at me, she likes me. This girl was like, all of her friends were like laughing and she kept looking back at me, that means she liked me. But I only notice these things when I'm in the mood of like, oh, girls like me. And that made me realize, you should go out thinking like, oh, everyone likes me, like, oh, all these guys like me. And, you don't need to be obnoxious about it. I didn't go up to these girls saying, oh, you fucking like me. Like, that's just weird. It's socially inept. But in my mind, I was thinking, oh, like, I'm looking tall today. Like, I'm handsome. I was reminding myself. When I first got my bleach buzz, I thought I was fucking sick and I had this exact same effect walking around. I was just thinking like, yo, I know I look sick, so I know that there's gonna be girls looking at me. And then I would go find like the evidence of what I believe. That's how humans work. You believe something and then you go out in the real world and you search for it. Obviously, if you believe you're good looking and you're ugly as shit, you're not gonna find much evidence, but you're still gonna be looking for it, and you might find 1 or 2 pieces of evidence, and that's enough to make your life a lot better. So let's fuck all this, like, what's it called? Humility shit. Like, it's fucking retarded, bro. Why don't you just be confident? Why don't you just be a bit arrogant? Keep it to yourself. But I really believe that on those days that I go out and I'm thinking like, oh, everybody likes me, I'm super cool, I'm gassing myself up, then when I go speak to people, I reflect that and I end up receiving like really fun social outcomes, or this girl likes me, or some crazy story happens. One day I went out with all my boys and we've been planning this for a few weeks, and we went on this like boat and we're wakeboarding. So there's a speedboat, this guy's driving it, all the boys are wakeboarding, we're all cracking open some beers. I mean, you don't need to do that. We were just like having a fucking fun time, But like none of us were locked in. It was on our holiday. We're having the fucking best time. We're all laughing, like making jokes. I was literally hysterically laughing for a few hours. And then I was with the boys. They came over and cooked. And then I was with some other boys and we went over to this friend's hotel and then we were doing this thing. And then at the end of the day, we ate like this massive meal and I was really tired. But after I ate a fucking all-you-can-eat buffet, I was gonna be fucking tired after, right? After I rejuvenated a little and we went out, I'd been comfortable being around the boys all day, making jokes. I was just comfortable being around people, saying embarrassing things here and there. Because dude, honestly, when I'm with my boys, I just don't give a shit. Like, I just start doing some crazy shit. I don't do anything obscene. But for example, like if I'm walking down the street, if I'm with my boys, I've got no fear in just, yo, what's up, Hong Kong? I got no fear in doing something like that. But when I'm by myself, I have like that fear. And I'm comfortable in these dumb, emotionally spiking conversations. The kind of conversations that if you're in an awkward mood, you'd like blush about or you'd feel like a bit uncomfortable. But I just got comfortable in that throughout the day, being around the boys, doing a couple dumb things, just being around them in general. That night when I went out, I was talking to this girl. She was like, oh, you're really charming. And literally, I took a step away from that girl to my right, and there was this group of 3 girls. So I was like, you guys know I nearly got shot in Bondi? Bro, basically, there was a shooting at Bondi, and I was there a week before the shooting. And I was like, I nearly got shot, bro. I did not nearly get shot. That did not fucking happen. But I was just saying things that came to my mind. I was just comfortable having like a kind of dumb combo. And then I was talking about they were like, oh, I don't remember how to explain this. I just remember this girl was like, I was flirting, okay? Like, I don't know how to explain it to you, Brad. Now I'm getting embarrassed telling this story, Brad. I fucking forgot where I was going with this. But that night out, genuinely had some of the most fun ever. Like, when I was talking to girls, it was the most ridiculously simple thing on the planet. There was a bunch of girls into me. I felt like I could talk to anyone in the world. And that happens when you're a bit more comfortable being around your boys. So you may not be able to have one day where you're with your boys all day, but maybe, you hang out with your friend in the gym a bit more. Just being comfortable, getting more comfortable being around people. It's healthy for your brain. You actually work harder, genuinely, trust me on that. And it just makes life so much better. Keep that in mind the next time you're going on a night out. Get comfortable being around the boys earlier in the day. Get comfortable doing a few embarrassing little jokes or something. And then when you go out that night, I'm telling you, this is a fucking valid strategy. You are so much more confident. especially if you get a few drinks in. After, if you do this sober, like the embarrassing stuff sober, and then it's like 11 or it's like 10 or 11 and you're about to go to like the nightclub and then you have some drinks, then it's gonna boost the fuck out of your social skills. Now you're probably wondering, what's the fast strategy? And I'm about to get into that. I'm gonna explain the fast strategy the last time I did it. I finished school and I had my last exam, and from that, like within 30 minutes, my friend came over. My dad, at this time I couldn't drive, right? So my dad picked me and my friend up. We had a long drive, and we were in a good mood. I was in a fucking great mood. I was happy as shit. I finished school. I fucking hated school. I hated school so much, bro. Well, it wasn't that bad, but like overall, it was just a shitter place to be. And then when I finished, my friend and I were gassing up in the car. We were going to this event later at night, and we actually got to this event, and it was dead as fuck. There was no one around. Like, I was like, what? No one here? And I was a bit upset about that. And we went to some other area instead. But we were just feeling mad awkward that whole night. Like, it was just such a shitter of a night, right? And then a little later, fuck, I'm losing my train of thought. Oh, yeah. The next night, I went out with one of my other friends. And even though it was only the second night and I'd been out, I'd approached a girl in the middle of the day. Like, the fuck? In the middle, like 6 p.m. that day, I went up to a girl like, hey, what's up? What's your name? I hadn't done something like that in months. And then I was going out that night and we were dancing, like surrounded by like 30 fucking girls. We're like starting some like chants or like some hey, and everyone's fucking joining in. And it's just an amazing like vibe. There's a lot of people who had just finished school, I assume. And we were just having a fucking blast of a time. And it was literally the second night after, trying to be as social as possible. The night before, we were trying to speak to hella people. We were just super awkward. The next day, we were still, like, at the start, it was still awkward. It was still hard. But you keep speaking to a guy. You speak to this guy. You speak to this guy. Then you speak to these girls. And then you speak to this hot girl. And then you keep, like, warming up. And then all of a sudden, you're in the best social mood. And then... Fuck, I need to sneeze, but the sneeze isn't coming. The next time that we went out was on Wednesday. And this night was even better because when you haven't gone out socially in a while, it's so much harder when you don't have those social skills. I have like prior experience to, going to a lot of social events. So obviously it was like my second nature to just go out and like get straight back there. But I'm still teaching you the strategy that I use sometimes. And then on that Wednesday, we ended up having the most fucking epic night, surrounded by so many people, like getting complimented, like, oh, you have such good energy. Like, it was just a fucking amazing night. And then in Sydney, I went to this, like, literally, when I met up with an old friend from school, and then there was this girl there, and she invited me to this 18th birthday, and I went the next day. And then after that, when we went to, like, this club afterwards, and there was a bunch of girls into me, like, it was just a fucking nice time. I'm telling you, bro. This kind of shit, yeah, I get it. It's hard. I know better than anybody. I'm not naturally social. I struggled with this for a long time. But I promise you, if you plan as many things as possible, especially if you have one or two friends to do this with, if you have a best mate and you invite him to like, oh bro, you convince him like, we need a lockout for like a week. We need to go like life max a little. I don't know how you're gonna fucking speak to your mate, but whatever, like, if I want to go out and do something like this, I'm gonna call my best friend. If only I had my best friend, I'm gonna say, yo bro, we need to fucking go. I'm telling you, this will change our lives. I did this once. My friend was super against going out. We were both very locked in. But I said, no, the value in going out is so high. And I just brought him on one night out. And if I were you, I would, like, obviously I was already social at that time to bring him out and do all that. But plan a bunch of events. In Australia, the U18 events are gold. There's like parties for your age and shit. Go to as many things as possible that you can plan, where you know you're gonna be meeting people, and then get used to saying hi to as many people as possible, having a chat. And after a few weeks, you're gonna notice, it might even take like one day before you notice a big difference, but you're gonna notice a life-changing difference if you do this for 2-3 weeks, because you're gonna end up, it's gonna take you like the first 2 weeks, and you're probably gonna be super awkward for the first 2 weeks, and then one crazy thing is gonna happen, and you might like end up hooking up with a super good looking girl, And then after you do that, maybe your confidence is way higher for the rest of your life. And then, I mean, it might not be getting with a girl that does that confidence boost for you, but when you finally become comfortable, you'll have your moment and it'll just be so much fun going around. Like, the thing is, bro, I know that you're probably uncomfortable to do this. You know what was weird? I was so used to being locked in that when I made the decision that I should be more social, it would be better for my life. When I went out and became social, and I remember I drank this one night, which is like a byproduct. If when you go out more socially more often, there's more temptation to do bad habits like drink and shit. I ended up drinking and I felt really guilty. And the next day I was like, okay, fuck it. New lock-in protocol. This week, monk mode for 2 weeks. And then I thought about this. I was like, okay, this is good stuff. But I shouldn't cut out the next social opportunity. I shouldn't cancel hanging out with my friend next Thursday because I accidentally drank with them on this Friday. I mean, I didn't accidentally drink, we'd planned ahead. So then that's when I realized it was actually uncomfortable for me to start going out again. It was uncomfortable for me to be social more, and it was more comfortable for me to be locked in. Now it's the other way around. I went out way too much this last fucking 2 months. But the point is that whatever you're not used to is the most discomfort you have. And when you have a lot of discomfort to do something, you're way less likely to do it. So keep in mind, maybe you're not being social, not because you're locked in, but sometimes because you're just scared. Be honest. That's what I said to myself before I had the most crazy social transformation ever. And I get it, bro. You know, you don't want to turn out like me, the super hardworking guy who started going out and really lost his discipline. In the last year of school, I was struggling with some sleep apnea, and I know that I didn't throw everything away because I still tried to lock in properly for these 2 months and work really hard, good habits, and then I still felt shit and I still felt unproductive even though I was doing all the good habits. So I knew for me it was genuinely some health stuff. And then this last month when I started joining a boxing gym, got a good anchor, that was an uncomfortable thing for me. I did that, and then I started getting productive again. And like over the holiday, I still uploaded a video every day in December when I was going out, like pretty much every third day, right? So you can still go and have like a fucking amazing holiday and be like healthy. I'm just saying, if you're about to go do this like massive holiday, I don't recommend you, don't go do drugs or some stupid shit, right? And if you're going out, that doesn't mean you need to stop, you cheat on your diet. That doesn't mean you need to, bro, don't cheat on your diet if you don't want to. The point that I'm making is, don't let yourself slip into the bad habits too badly. We're focusing on being social here, and it's still gonna take some discipline, and you might fuck up a little drinking and shit, but try your best not to get too hooked into all of these, because when on a night out, bro, it's really addictive. Even just the social part can be addictive in a good way. But if you start going out and you start smoking cigarettes and you start drinking every single time you go to a social event, then you're gonna not actually be making the social progress you aimed for in the first place, and you're gonna be more relying on an addiction, even though you probably will become more social. But now I'm gonna teach you the slower strat for you busy motherfuckers. I was not uploading a video consistently for about 6 days now. And on the 7th day, you know why I uploaded a video? Well, it was the 6th day and I was about to go work out at lunch at 12. But I was walking in the hallway and I saw my friend at school. I was like, yo, you wanna come box with me at 12 in the gym? I'm gonna go put up the pads and have a box. He's like, yeah, I'll come, say less. So he comes through. We end up having a really good chat. We end up I felt so much better after boxing and having a good laugh with him. Because I felt like he understood me, We're both boxing, we're both training hard. This is my guy. And then the funniest shit that happened, the next morning I woke up early and I worked, and I woke up for the first morning and I filmed my YouTube video. When I had been procrastinating and sleeping in for the last 6 days. The 7th day I woke up on time. The reason that I did this was because I genuinely got around some friends. And so if you're not going out and filling this social problem fast, then at least fill it here and there, invite some people along to your schedule. You might be wondering how do you even start with that? I told you a few tips of how to be a fun personality, how to be a better guy. And there's a lot more info if you're interested in more social. I have so much better advice for if you're a bit awkward, meeting new people. There's other videos on this channel that will help you a lot with that. So check it out and subscribe if you're interested. But the thing that I think is really valuable for once you're not super awkward and you can, or if you're a little awkward, but you just the main thing you need to do is say hi to a few more people, Well, when I started going to school gym, and then there was this guy who was there, and he was on the lat pull down machines. Instead of saying, oh, he's on the, I won't even ask how many sets he has left. I'll just go and do my own thing, right? Instead of doing that, now I went up to him, I was like, yo, how many sets do you have left, bro? He's like, yo, I got like 2-3 more sets. I'm like, you mind if I work in, bro? He's like, yeah, no problem. I'm like, what's your name, by the way? Finn, nice to meet you. I'm kind of speed running this chat. But I'm like, yo, what school do you go to? He's like, oh, I went to this school. I'm like, no way, I went to that school too. And then we're having like a good little chat, energy, like, the energy is there. And, we're connecting a little bit. When you keep doing that, eventually I did that, and eventually I met my best friend through like being really friendly and talking to him. Because I really respected that my best friend at the school at least, like I really respected that he had an art Instagram account. He was like kind of entrepreneur. He was in the gym. He was really nice, hardworking. And so by going around and saying hi to a lot of people, I ended up saying hi to this guy, and I ended up clicking well with him. And then I invited him to come do something with me, like a social event. And then we got really close. And so I think that's the slower strat, You might not be, because we didn't get to hang out for like a year or like half a year after we started talking. So I mean, the slower strat is kind of lame, but like, if you fucking do it, I guess it works. It's just you don't want to make friends a bit faster. It's gonna get in the way of your life more. So I don't recommend it. But this is just something good to be doing throughout your life, like all the time. Because as soon as you drop to like a level of no human contact, where you're not seeing any friends, you're not talking to people who are in your daily life, you're gonna hit like a level of peak loneliness, and you actually start to do really badly in your goals. You're not that happy. Like those guys who they're locked in, right? I think that genuinely, if they had a gym bro or friend that they could go to the gym with once a day, that the productivity would skyrocket, just because getting to that level of loneliness just takes away from your productivity more than adding anything. I hope this advice works. I really recommend you just get started. I have helped personally this one guy who I did a call with. I've helped more guys than that, but I did a call with this guy, and he said, like, you really helped me. Your course has changed my life. Oh, you're a course seller, blah, blah, blah. Bro, if you don't want to buy my course, I don't give a shit. Like, I mean, obviously I want you to invest in me because I can help you, but there's so much free content here. But if you really want like in-depth advice, you really are committed about this and you're willing to spend a little bit of money, click the link in the description. There's a video call of this other guy you can tell he's so much more social, he's so much more fun to be around. He's telling me stories about this friend that he met. He's got a good sense of humor now. And I've genuinely put in a lot of effort trying to coach him, help him along this journey. He invested in my product. And it worked. And so I want you to know, like, my advice works, bro. I've helped a lot of people with this, and I would be happy to help you next. But if not, subscribe and have a good day, bro. Take care. Oh, like the video too.